Yeah.
What
Well,
about
Don
the
was in the Navy. But he was assigned to the Marine Corps as a medic. And he was killed on the beach at Iwo Jima. I think the second day of the battle. But I can't swear to that.
If anybody
And he
wants,
was buried originally on Iwo Jima.
that's what I wanted to ask, because we have a picture of the cross with his name on it. I don't know if he was buried there.
He was buried there.
So how, eventually they went and brought everybody back.
He's brought him back.
We have the telegram
Right.
about the returning of the casket. I think it come out of Albuquerque or something like that. Now, there was a Purple Heart. Well, who has the Purple Heart? Is that in that chest?
Didn't I give that to you, Donnie?
I remember that.
Well,
I had it one time in a little box, and I thought I gave you some stuff. And
I always heard from my dad that his mom was so upset that Don wasn't buried back in Arizona. And Daddy went and bought the 8 funeral plots down there at the Mesa Cemetery so they could bring Don home.
So that your dad bought the plots at that time. Do you remember Phyllis's reaction, or she talked about?
I don't remember. I was thinking about that when you were talking here. And I was pretty young. I didn't go to any kind of a funeral or anything or whatever they had. I just remembered them giving that thing and that incident where I woke him up in the middle of the night. And that's about all I really remember. He wasn't there except that short time he was on leave before he went overseas, I guess. That's what he was doing there. And that's all I can remember of him. He was just this huge guy, and here I was, this about 6 or 7 or something, you know.
Did they give her this blue, or the flag and stuff at the time of the telegram, or was that later?
Well, that was later, I think. I don't think it was at the time. I think it was, they got the telegram, and then there was some kind of a commemoration thing, because they came.
Well, they had the service.
And they had something, and they presented that flag to her, and I just remember being there. I don't know how sick she was. I don't know. But they came to the house and presented her with the flag. I just remember that.
Well, didn't we have a service in the 3rd Ward?
Well, they had
but-
memorial service, and then they had when the casket came in, they had a small service.
Where?
I don't know, because I wasn't here. I was up in Prescott with the Bonds.
Okay.
Why were you in Prescott?
The Bonds invited me up there.
To go, you were in school?
No, this was summer.
Okay.
It was summer on vacation, and they were going up there to their cabins. And so they came down and asked Mom if I could go up with them.
Now, who was this? Was this Roy or Ted? Which family?
Oh, this is Roy and J.W. Bishop. The bishop. What was his name?
Roy was
Roy was.
Donna. There's Donna.
That's Donna's father.
Yeah. Ted Bond was.
Ted Bond was.
Wasn't it? Or
he's another brother.
Yeah, he was a brother right next on the corner, and I'm trying to think.
No, he wasn't. That's not Ted. That was.
He was the bishop.
No.
Roy Bond?
Roy Bond was the ward clerk.
Roy and Wallace.
Wallace Bond.
Wallace Bond.
And who was his daughter?
Orabeth.
Orabeth, okay.
Well, he had
Who was
3
Buzz?
daughters.
Buzz was Roy Bond.
Yes.
Is there anything, maybe before Gary leaves, a date with the ranch that maybe we want to clarify, or we pretty much? What? The brands they were running?
Well, ZQ Bar was Cap Naegle's brand. And then he bought a bunch of cattle with the 2H2 brand on it. And that's how he ended up with that brand, is what my dad always told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
They bought a B Bar S, wasn't there?
Well, they bought some cattle with B-bar S on it, and Uncle Rick used it for a while. And Diamond B was Cecil's, Circle L was Roy,
Well, we have histories.
E.E. Bar was Uncle Johnny's,
I thought the bar was Jenny's.
No, it was Johnny's, and then when Johnny died and Jenny, they kept it, and then they gave it to Jenny when they split the ranch.
Al was Seven Lazy White
That
Rag.
was 7 Lazy White Rag. There was 13 brands.
The Bar to You brand was registered by D.C. Nicoll in about 1917, something like that.
The brand CJN, I found a registration in Utah of John Conrad Naegle up there. I went back and found in their brand book, and I have copies of that brand
Well,
book.
Did you ever come up with just
Okay.
JM connected?
They're in there. I mean,
Because that
Thanks, Gary.
Naegle family organization up there says that John Naegle branded J connected in.
and I didn't come across that.
Now, that's in their book that I read. He branded.
I just went in, and I think, Kemp, you've looked in it, we've looked in just the history and went into a brand
And I
book.
just wondered if you ever looked up that J and connected.
Well, it's there, but it wasn't with John C. Naegle.
Well, okay. Now, maybe they don't know what they're talking about in that book.
Well, that's
Guy
why.
and Dan, would you guys move over there by Joyce?
Well, we've been at this for about an hour and a half, and I really appreciate it. There's a whole lot more we could keep going. We just talked about Don, and I know it's kind of the somber moments in life, but I want to learn more about when Grandma Nicoll passed away, how everybody found out, what some of the history is of that, and then also with Grandpa Nicoll. I think he passed away in '66.
Well,
At
she
Phyllis's
was in
house?
the hospital at the same time that Susan and,
Yeah,
who, Wading? No, not Wading.
well, yeah,
Four
well,
girls born that year.
yeah, they were all born that year,
Shirley.
but there was 2 of them in there. Was Gloria in there?
You mean Shirley?
No, it was one
Shirley
of the
was-
Shreves.
Oh.
Shirley was earlier, I guess.
What?
Wylene,
Was she
Yeah,
the same
Phyllis.
age as,
yeah, Shirley, and I'm not sure if it's Jan or Judy.
And Nancy,
no,
Charlene?
it'd be Susan.
It was Susan.
Was it Susan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, there's
Shirley,
4 of them.
yeah, well, Susan and Shirley were two.
They were in the
Wylene
hospital
and-
at the
and
time
I said I didn't
Grandma
know if it was
died.
Jan
Well,
or
what-
Judy, I'm not sure if their age.
Yeah, Marie was getting ready to go in at that time.
Go back just a little bit. How long was Grandma sick? What was, not.
Oh, she was sick
For a long
15
time.
years.
Marie asked me one time if I knew Mom before she got sick. And I couldn't remember that I had, because Marie said that Mom was very active.
Yeah, she went to
She
church.
went to church, and she went to Relief Society. She was secretary of a Relief Society, and she went to all the, what do they call, social bees, or
Yeah, quilting bees.
quilting bees, and then they had, there was another kind of party they
There was kind of
had.
an organization they had.
Yeah, they'd go sit all afternoon, and, well, usually they'd go in the
Knit and talk.
morning, and they'd quilt. They'd have a little luncheon, I guess, or something, and then they'd be there until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
Well, I can honestly say that I can remember when she wasn't sick.